Tape job is for the heel fat pad. So commonly when you have plantar heel pain, there can be various reasons for that. Usually you'll hear about plantar fasciopathy, and that involves the plantar fascia as it attaches into the medial tubercle of the calcaneus, or the inside of the heel bone. Usually you'll know when you pull back on the toe like that, you'll get pain here. So there's a different tape job for that. But this is usually if we don't find that and we find pain where we just directly push in. And a lot of times that happens with what's something called fat pad atrophy, or this fat pad just becomes smaller so the bones kind of perforate through it and create pain. So the objective of the actual tape job is literally simply just to do this. So you can see when I do that there, the fat pad becomes more cushiony, right? And then that's going to limit pain because you're not going to have as much pressure on the, say, the bony part or whatever happens to be sensitive in that area. So it's not too complicated with this, it's just about how you apply the tape. So we're going to be using two types of tape. So Hypofix and Leukotape. The Hypofix is just the protective covering so you don't get the irritation from the effective tape for this job, which is the Leukotape. Now all I'm really doing here is I'm going from about this spot in the foot to around to about here. It doesn't matter exactly where you go, but I use some common kind of landmarks. So the tuberosity of the fifth metatarsal and the navicular tuberosity on the side there like that. Not that important if you're doing this yourself. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is just lay down the white tape, just so that we have some level of covering for that. Now, though the white tape, when you're laying this on, you don't have to go in any specific direction because it's not really going to create enough pull to matter. But when we do the other tape, it does matter. Okay, so this part here, I just lay kind of on when I use this, but when I use the brown tape, I'm going to be pulling it on much tighter, and we'll explain that at the time. Now, when we're doing this part here, in case there is some kind of plantar fasciopathy contributing to the problem, I always like to make sure I'm bringing the heel bone or the calcaneus in this direction. That way you're shortening the distance between the toes and the heel and thus taking the load off the plantar fascia. If I were to tape from here out, it would do the opposite, and you can see how that could contribute to more pain. Now once again, it doesn't matter for this one, but I like to just have a habit of doing it so I never forget. Forget it's catastrophic. Let's not do it. Now, general rules with any tape, you can leave the Leuko and Hypofix on for about 3 days. I wouldn't suggest any longer than that because A, the tape just loses its effectiveness, so it's useless, and it could potentially cause irritation to the skin. Also, just get in the habit, especially after the first application, just check the skin, make sure there isn't any irritation. If there is, just notify your healthcare professional or whoever told you to apply this. Okay, now I'll be applying the actual Leukotape. So this is where it is more technique specific because you're actually trying to create that pressure here on the outside. So usually what I'll do is make sure I'm going from outside to in as I'd indicated before. Okay, and I'm pulling. So once I've got that there, I'll just tear that. Okay. And then what I'm going to be doing is I want to make sure I'm actually pulling tight through here like that. Didn't quite hit the mark here, but typically try to get the brown tape so it's touching the skin slightly on either side. If you do that, it's more likely to actually stay on. And it's only a little bit of brown tape on skin, so it should be all right. Okay, now for this one, I'm starting from this side here. Okay, so from the outside, same side as the baby toe, and then going in. Okay, this is probably the only way that you can actually derail this tape job so that it's probably causing more harm than any good. Now, some people are fanatics about wrinkles. As you can see, I got some. If you're going to make sure there's no wrinkles, anywhere there's weight-bearing areas, because that's the spot where it might induce a blister. And then often what I'll do after this is I'll close it off with one more. I'll do one more application along the sides. And I find that if I do this, it stays on a little bit longer. Okay, and you can see there, now you've got some cushion. So every time she steps, the weight will push in, and then the tape will prevent it from dispersing too much, which will then provide more impact control when she's walking, hopefully alleviate pain if it is a fat pad atrophy. Which is why you need to have it physically assessed fully first before you get tape applied, because that needs to be the indication for this. Right?